Morning, Year 5. So, we've got ourselves our acquire a fine for this week. We know when we acquire a fine, we are analysing. So we pick apart the text, ask questions, wonder what some words mean, maybe point out things that we really like as well. So, it's called My Royal Story, A Tudor Girl's Diary. So instantly I'm thinking, well, oops, is she rich? Poor? Don't really know. It says My Royal Story. Right, this is my book. It was not always mine. Long ago, someone very important gave it to father, and I told him to give it to a lady. My mother can read a little, but cannot write, so he kept it for me. The paper is quite smooth, and the colour of buttermilk. Maybe we don't know what buttermilk is. And my words are fairly neat, and I do not, I think, spoil it. So this bit here, she's talking about, I think she's talking about her writing, isn't she? So she's not spoiling her writing. There might be another question in this paragraph. Why can't her mum write? But she can read a little bit. Maybe you've got a bit of historical knowledge. You guys actually did the Tudors, I believe, with Miss Carline. Father says I'm unique. Should know what unique means, but I'll circle it. And should write about myself. I thought about my life and why I am unique. I live in the greatest castle in England, the Tower of London. Ah, okay. Instantly, this question up here is getting answered. I live in the greatest castle in England, the Tower of London. It is a palace and a fortress, but it's also a prison. Our house is within the tower walls, so I soon hear about everything that goes on. Ooh, hang on. Our house is in the tower walls. It, is she royalty or not? I don't know. Our house is in the tower walls. I read that bit. I'm the only girl of my age here. Indeed, there is only one other person near my age, and that is Tom. Funny Tom, from the Royal Menagerie. Ooh, that's a great word. I suggest you find what menagerie means. By the tower gates, where the king's beasts are kept. There's a little bit of a clue. There you go. The king's beasts are kept. What sort of beasts? Tommy's almost 14 and my best friend, but he stinks. Now that that might be true, or it might be her trying to be like friendly banter kind of thing. I don't know. So we can guess she's almost 14 as well. We can imagine maybe a teenager. The next day, we've got 3rd of May. I had no time to write more yesterday. I was needed all day to help with the 2 little ones. Harry is teething. You might know what teething is. And is cross and fretful. Fretful is a good word you might want to find as well. Instantly, the fact that they're 2 little ones and he's teething, well, he's got to be kind of, well, 1 or 2, hasn't he? Years old. He bites everything he can reach, even younger than 1 actually. Luckily, little Jack just smiles a lot, which is good for all of us. So one's called Harry and one's Little Jack. I wonder if he's even younger than Harry. Interesting. Mother is with child again. Oh, what does that mean? Mother is with child again. You might have heard that in films and things. And tires quickly. I told her I had begun to write my diary. You would do well to forget such nonsense and spend more time learning important things, she said. You cook like a farmer mixing compost. So, what does Mum mean by learning more important things? Like what? And then she mentions cooking. You mix like a farmer mixing compost. Well, that paints a good picture, doesn't it? A farmer mixing compost. Well, compost is your soil and your manure and things. So mixing compost, that's big, huge movements. So it sounds like she can't cook. But true, not true. But I did not say so for fear of a sore head. For fear of a sore head. So what is she scared of happening? Mother is quick with her hands. That links, I think. I think all of that links. when she is testy. So what does that mean? Many times father has had to prepare a salve for my bruises. What does that mean? Now, some of you might be thinking, whoa, hang on, in this video, there's lots of question marks, and what does that mean? You can probably guess what Metamate is going to be this week. It's fortunate that he is the tower physician. Oof. Now that word is physician, if you couldn't decode that. Fortunate for me, though not for him. Sometimes he returns from attending a prisoner and will not speak for an hour, but locks himself away in his study to work alone on his medicines. I think he sees bad things in the cells and down in the dungeons. My older brother, William, is newly apprenticed to father. Newly apprenticed is a phrase you might need to find out, and has promised to tell me what goes on. He will not, I know. He never does. Right, okay, so I'm getting that the family, so dad is, well, physician I'm going to tell you is like a doctor. For prisoners. Which explains why the family live on the castle, live in the castle walls. So dad's a doctor for the prisoners. Sounds like William, his son, her older brother, is learning to do that, and it sounds like it's her, whatever the girl's name is, with mum, and there are two other little children. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in the family, which would explain why they're living inside the castle walls. The 5th. I tried to slip out to see Tom before dinner. Ooh, now why? Oh, they were friends. She said they were friends, didn't she? But mother chose today to clean the floors and remake the beds. She is too large to do it herself. Now remember, that links to with child again. Okay, so those two bits link. So I had to help Sal, our maidservant. Ah, okay, so they do have a servant. Okay, so that kind of puts them in the not working. I was assuming that they would be being servants themselves. William was sent for fresh rushes. What is that? While Sal and I swept out the smelly ones. Ooh, hang on, I'm going to underline that whole sentence. William's share of the work was done then, so he went to help father, while Sal spread new rushes over the floor. I took Harry and Jack to pick flower heads and herbs from our little garden to put with the rushes. So whatever the rushes are, she's getting flowers and herbs to go with them to smell nice. It can't be food because you swept out the old ones. Wouldn't sweep out food. I got down on my hands and knees too to put feverfew, tansy, and some woodworm under the mattress. Well, we've got words we don't know here, definitely. What are these? Wormwood, not woodworm. Wormwood. I saved moats for my own bed, so she's putting these in her bed. My tiny room beneath the roof is quiet and all my own, but there are more lice and fleas up there than anywhere in the house, it seems. So I stuffed plenty of herbs beneath my mattress to keep them away. Ah! You could work out what these things are by this line here. Anyway, I would rather sleep on my own with the lice than in the big bed with my small brothers. Sal sleeps in the truckle bed, what's that, beside them, and has to put up with Harry's nighttime yells. Mother cannot believe I wish to sleep here, and that's all we've got of this. I'm going to tell you, this week is Wordsmith Wendy, okay? And what you're going to need with this text, today what I think you're going to need to do, I think there's going to be lots of sort of question sections, so in terms of, sorry, not questions, words or vocab. Okay, now, I think you need to probably make a list of what you don't know, but then you can work out in the text what some of them are. So feverfew, tansy and wormwood are all herbs, and I wouldn't have been able to say what feverfew was, so I've worked that out, that that's part of the herbs. So I think today's really is going to be all the different words and vocab you might not recognise, and maybe try and work some of it out because you know it's going to be coming on Thursday, which is why I'm going to say try not to find out too much before, because you need to work it out for yourselves a little bit more this week. So, hopefully the text itself isn't too hard to follow in terms of who she is. I think we've got a good picture of that. But a lot of vocab here that's different, maybe because of history. You know, what they were doing, we don't do now as much. So that's probably why it's the unknown. But have a go, have a read through. Even if at the very least you just have a read through and you've watched this video. But it's worth thinking about what some of these things might mean. Have a guess. Have a good guess. What might this be? So you might want to put, I think this is this, and get ahead of the game for Thursday potentially. But well done for having a look at the video. Thanks for stopping by. And hopefully your brain is twitching with wonderings of what these words might mean.